Let's talk a little bit about how we're doing on the rollout. Now, some things actually don't make sense to me, and maybe you can help me with this. One, we want to understand where do we stand on production. We're still vaccinating below our production capacity. 4.3 million, the number we hit in the last 24 hours, is still below the 5 million that is available to us as a nation. But if we need to get to that 8 million to 10 million doses a day, do we have the production capacity between the Serum Institute and Bharat Biotech, or we do not?
No, absolutely not. In fact, I think vaccinating 2 to 3 million a day would be the maximum limit given the capacities, right? If you look at today, we're giving 60 million a month, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that can go to 70 million a month next month. The ramp up will come in June, July, as I mentioned, probably end of June, early July, where we can make 100 million a month. The point is, you add that to Bharat's capacities and other vaccine producers coming about. I don't think we can cross more than 3 million a month, per day based on the capacities that we have today. I could be wrong, but in my opinion, I think that is a good level to be at, and no country is exceeding that on a daily basis. If you look at what's happening, I mean, are there countries more than 3 million vaccines a day?
No, but is that enough for us to avert the lockdown redux that our states?
No, that's a good point. So let us de-link the two for a moment, because we all know that even if you get a vaccine, you can still transmit the disease to others, and you will have mild to moderate symptoms. It's not a bulletproof vest. Imagine you're shot with a gun. You're still going to get bruising and a broken rib when the bullet the shield. And that's why we called it Covishield, that it's not a bulletproof vest. I would have called it bulletproof COVID if it was going to completely prevent anyone from getting it and transmitting it. Now, this is a very important point. So whilst we still need to vaccinate everybody to protect them, it may not necessarily reduce the transmission to the extent as what we imagine it to do. And you're seeing that today. What it will do is completely deburden the hospitals and reduce the hospitalizations by 95%. And that's a big one, because that's where you save the life, and that's where you deburden the healthcare infrastructure, right? So we've proven that even with one dose of Covishield, even with one dose, the Scotland Public Health, and it'll come out in Lancet soon, you have 95% efficacy against hospitalization.
Yeah. So couple of things there. It's so important that you have said that vaccines basically prevent disease, not infection, or at least serious disease and not infection. And to that extent,
I wouldn't say it's 100. Half the time, half the people, let's say, who get the vaccine will still get infected and can infect others, but they will be safe. So that is why it's important to vaccinate everybody. But it's perhaps not right to say that, oh, we need to make vaccinate 5 or 10 million a day, because that's physically impossible.
But here's the point. Two things there. A lot of people are hesitant about taking the vaccine because they have this sort of ill-informed understanding that if you test positive 10 days after taking the vaccine, this is the most common questions we have even on a live stream right now. We tested positive after taking the vaccine. You can test positive after taking the vaccine. What the vaccine will do is to help you not, it'll mostly prevent mortality and serious illness, right? I think people need to understand.
So the way to explain it is, what is mild to moderate disease? You get a headache, maybe fever, maybe a feeling of weakness, a sore throat, right? 2-3 days with some paracetamol or whatever other treatment your doctor prescribes, you'll be fine. You don't have to go to a hospital where you need oxygen, a ventilator, and your life is in danger. That is severe disease. So 95% of what we've seen with Covishield and Oxford AstraZeneca abroad has prevented that. And I certainly hope that trend continues, because that is really the proof of the testament that this is an effective vaccine against the severity of the disease.
Yeah. But when you say we don't have the physical capacity for ratcheting up to 5 million, what would it take to get to that number? Because we have the capacity to administer it. We simply don't have the production capacity right now. Does it mean that we need more vaccine options? We know that you were in talks with Novavax. Doctors have spoken to believe that that is going to be the game-changing vaccine. You're now saying that that won't be available till September. This country can't be in lockdown till September. I mean, in my personal view, and you and I have spoken about this, I think lockdowns are just a complete mistake. But if we can't get to 5 million, what are the options?
Not many, in a simple sense. You've got other vaccine producers who are doing their absolute best to scale up. Again, that scale up will hit us probably in 3 months from now. You should talk to them and ask them. Novavax, as you rightly said, September, October launch. We can't help it. We're trying to do the trials as fast as we can here. We just started enrollment, this month. And we've got other vaccines and other manufacturers. You've got Sputnik coming soon, and hopefully will be launched. So again,
are you producing? Will you be manufacturing the Russian vaccine as well?
Eventually, but I won't say when, because we're just trying to figure out, all of that. We've been talking to them for a while, and we know them very well. RDIF and Kirill, who runs RDIF, because we had all these other priorities, and how much could I do at the same time? So I just didn't have the bandwidth. Yeah. And now we're looking at trying to do that also to add, because whatever we can add helps. Every little bit helps. So the point is, long and short of it is that the real crunch, which is why we've chosen to prioritize Indian supplies over everyone else, is because in these 3 months, with this surge happening in India, there is really no other solution. In fact, that's what, ideally, we were planning to supply only 30 million a month and give 30, 40 million abroad. Now we're giving everything to India. Had we not done that, you would see even, all the hospitals, being overrun, which I think you've already coming to that sort of level now already, which is very, not all over the country, but in certain states. So right now, there's no easy fix to this. I mean, we just have to put our head down. We're also trying to do as much as we can and scale it up a little bit. But the main scale up from us is going to be visible in June. Even if I invest the 3,000 crores and the proposal that we've given to the government, we'll put in probably half of that. They put in half, or we go to the banks if they're not able to support us fully. They're trying their best. We stand committed to this scale up program, but even if our best efforts we put in today, that will only come in June. So that is, at least from our standpoint, the situation we're in, because this was unexpected. We didn't expect this to happen.
But you had hoped for 100 million doses a month in April, and then the fire happens and it throws a little bit of your plans.
So that got pushed back by 2 months because of the sad tragedy that we experienced on the 21st of January. And we're trying to claw back that time as much as possible. We were very fortunate that the whole line was not written off. There was just water leakage, which now needed to be fixed and revalidated, revamped a little. So that's taken 2 months.